video, and it looked like Alyssa Thomas will be getting fined for doing this.
You cannot be there chirping with fans the whole game. You cannot be allegedly telling fans Duana chose to join.
We all expected this. I even called it out before the game in my live. But somehow, booing Duana Bonner has...
The WNBA just served up one of the most embarrassing examples of double standards and fake toughness we've seen in a long time. A supposed veteran leader spent the whole night chirping at Indiana Fever fans, running her mouth non-stop, but the moment the cameras came out, she disappeared like she never existed. No apology, no accountability, nothing but silence. Funny how the loudest voice on the court suddenly lost all volume afterward. That's not leadership. That's pure unprofessionalism, and fans are calling it out loud and clear.
So Alyssa Thomas had all the smoke for the Fever fans. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, it wasn't just like just normal smoke. It wasn't just normal beef. It was what people from the country will call Dublin. She had the big smoke. Like, she absolutely had all the beef for. She, let the fans hear it, all of this stuff. Satu there, telling the fans to keep up the booze. And what did they do? They lost. And what did Alyssa do?
This is the story of a player who believed attitude could replace accountability, talking big, intimidating fans, and acting like she owned the league. But when the time came to actually stand tall and face the music, she folded. Anyone can play tough when the clock's running, but real professionalism begins when the noise stops and every eye is on how you respond. Turns out, it's easy to be loud, it's much harder to stand by your words. And when it mattered most, she chose to vanish instead.
A celebration right now in the WNBA dump, but for some reason, and this should come as a surprise to no one, for some reason, WNBA players, they're just not in a joyous mood. They're not in the mood to express their appreciation, their gratitude to the people who gave them something worth celebrating. Instead of showing their appreciation, these bitter, entitled, insufferable players, they continue to engage in a war with...
When Alyssa Thomas and the Phoenix Mercury rolled into Indianapolis that heated Wednesday night, she was ready to play the villain, feeding off the noise, the tension, and the chaos she thought she could control. But what she faced was a fan base that had every reason to stand up for itself and a league unwilling to shield her from the fallout. She came looking for drama on her own terms. Instead, she found accountability, a spotlight she couldn't dim, and a hard lesson that every action eventually demands its consequence.
First time coming back to Indianapolis after pretty much quitting the team. And I'm sticking to my guns saying that she quit the team because in my eyes, that's definitely what she did. Now, she went on record and stated that the role that she had possibly wasn't good enough for her. The fit just wasn't working. But at the end of the day, all of it points to the arrows of what? Quitting the basketball team. There's no way to justify it.
The warning signs were there from the very first possession, but Alyssa Thomas was too caught up in her own noise to see them. She spent the game jawing at fans, mocking the crowd like it was recess, and even allegedly telling Fever supporters that Bonner played for a real team. A real team, huh? Well, let's talk about what's actually real, Alyssa. Things like accountability, professionalism, and the ability to know when to stop acting tough and start acting responsible. And when it came to that, you completely missed the mark.
Basically, you can see Alyssa Thomas going back and forth with a fan, man. I mean, she just, I don't know if she just can't ignore anybody that's just coming at her, you know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure it's not anything racist or anything like that. I just think they get under her skin. they just get under her skin, and maybe since her first incident, whatever the case may be, she just didn't like it, so after that, she just can't stand any other people.
So what did the WNBA do? Exactly what any serious league should. They hit Alyssa Thomas and the Mercury with a fine for breaking one of the most basic principles in professional sports, facing the media after the final buzzer. When the game's over, you don't vanish into the tunnel and hide. You show up, take questions, and own your performance. That's part of the job. Skip that responsibility, and you pay for it. Plain and simple.
WNBA media access policy states no later than 10 minutes following the game, each head coach and 2 players, leading scorer and key contributor per team, be available in separate press conference room for in-person Zoom meetings. AT and the Mercury will likely be fined because they chose to break the rule. It's looking like Alyssa Thomas and the Phoenix Mercury are going to be fined because she just said nah. She just said,
if you're enjoying the video, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out. The media availability violation didn't just earn Alyssa Thomas a fine, it exposed exactly what she isn't. After a strong individual showing, she had the perfect chance to face the music, explain her actions, and show real leadership. Instead, she bolted. No accountability, no explanation, just silence. She walked away from both the room and her responsibility, leaving her coach and teammates to clean up the mess she made. This is what happens when a player not built for the spotlight suddenly gets shoved into it. The WNBA's 2025 media access policy couldn't be any clearer. Within 10 minutes of the final buzzer, each head coach and 2 players, the top scorer and a key contributor, must be available for in-person and Zoom press conferences. It's not optional, not a favor, but a rule, and Alyssa didn't skip it because she didn't know better. She skipped it because she didn't want to face it. This isn't about emotions or post-game heat. It's about professionalism. If you can talk big and jaw at fans for 4 quarters, you should be able to stand up and answer for it when the clock hits 0. Thomas wasn't, and that silence said more than any stat line ever could.
We seen Alyssa Thomas jawing at it with fans, kind of, making a complete fool of herself, and now she's finna be getting fined because she refused.
Alyssa Thomas's vanishing act was the textbook definition of what not to do as a professional. Here's a player who spent 4 quarters taunting fans, yelling that her partner joined a real team, and even gesturing for people to meet her afterward. But when it came time for real accountability, she disappeared. The same fire she brought to the court completely fizzled the moment responsibility showed up. Fans noticed immediately. They saw through the act, a player more focused on stirring chaos than setting an example. Her trash talk and sideline showmanship didn't inspire anyone, it fell flat. The only ones who reacted were league officials, who fined both her and the Mercury for violating clear media access rules. Meanwhile, Coach Nate Tibbetts and Kalia Copper did exactly what professionals do. They faced the press, answered questions, and owned their performance. Thomas? She stayed hidden in the locker room like someone who knew she crossed a line. That's not leadership. That's not strength. That's just avoidance. And the fans aren't fooled for a second.
A game of sport where 2 teams are going against each other, right? 2 rivals, 2 fan bases, right, are going against each other. You are allowed to be talked about, all right? You are allowed to be talked about as long as they are keeping it within the game and, not really attacking anything personal or talking about family members or, you know what crosses the line, right? Y'all.
Let's be crystal clear about what went down in Indianapolis and why the booing wasn't just justified, it was inevitable. Dana Bonner signed with the Indiana Fever in February to major hype, billed as the seasoned veteran who would help guide Caitlin Clark and a young roster toward contention. Instead, she gave them 9 games. 9. That's not even a quarter of the season. In that short stint, she put up career-worst numbers: 7. 1 points, 3. 8 rebounds, poor shooting, and absolutely no positive impact on team chemistry. After losing her starting role just 3 games in, Bonner took a 5-game absence for personal reasons, which, let's be honest, was a thinly veiled "I'm done here." And despite her lackluster play, the Fever tried to make it work. They explored trades, gave her time off, and bent over backward to find a solution. But Bonner had already mentally clocked out, and with her bloated $200,000 contract weighing down a league with a strict salary cap, Indiana had no choice, no trade partners, no accountability, just a forced release. So when she returned to Indy in a different jersey, the crowd responded, not out of hate, but out of memory.